Hello, welcome to my channel, Yin Yoga with Michelle. Today's practice will be for the hips and legs. Really good for if you've been doing a lot of running or hiking and just working the legs in any sort of way and they're a little tight. This is really good to focus on those areas. So no props needed, but you can always invite them in if you choose to. So if this practice sounds like something your body needs today, I will meet you back on your mat or in your space. All right, thank you for choosing to practice with me today. Let's get started laying down. I'm just coming to lay down, nice and easy. And once you get here, bring the knees into the chest. Widen the knees a bit with your hands resting, and just take a few rocks side to side. And taking some nice, slow, deep breaths here. Just kind of checking in. Notice how the low back is feeling, the spine. And you may even feel this in your hips and glutes here. And just taking a few more little rocks side to side. Nice. Let's bring the knees back in towards one another. Send the feet up towards the ceiling or the sky, holding onto the backs of your thighs, and just point and flex the feet. As you do this, notice if the shoulders are kind of lifted off the floor, if your head is off. We want to keep the head and the shoulders glued to the mat, to the earth. And then take a few little rolls side to side through the ankles. Nice. Let's keep that right leg extending, both hands to the back of the thigh. Lower your left leg all the way down. If this is a little too intense, you can just bring your left foot to the mat, to the floor. Just meeting your body where it's at today. And then just give a little gentle flex through that foot, your right foot. Maybe you have a little micro bend in that right knee. If the hamstrings are really tight, that's perfectly fine. Once again, check in with the shoulders, the shoulder blades. Let them get heavy. Let them sink down. Relaxing the jaw. Relax your left leg and foot. Take a big breath to the belly. As you exhale, let the belly soften. The low back release, the glutes. You may feel a little shaking going on in that right leg. I'm feeling that currently, and that's just due to a little stagnant energy maybe held here in the muscles and the body. As long as it's not anything painful, it's okay to just breathe through that and let that release. If you'd like to come into this a little deeper, you can just send the hands a little further down the legs, so coming up to the calf. Not wanting to jeopardize the shoulders here, so not wanting the shoulders to tense up. If this is too tense in the shoulders with you bringing the hands up further, just come back to where you were behind the back of the thigh. Nice, slow, deep breaths here. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Last breath, big breath in. Big breath out. Beautiful. And then bend that right knee. We'll come into a supine twist here. So left hand to your right knee, gently guiding that right knee over towards the left. We want to focus on stacking that right hip over the left. And then maybe reaching that right arm out to the side with the palm facing up. That feels okay in your shoulders, or you can just have the hand resting on the ribs. And you can look over to the right. Let your right foot rest on the floor. Nice, slow, deep breaths here. Giving the body permission to soften on the exhale. Remembering that in our yin practice, it's about letting the muscles relax rather than being active. So as we give the body permission to relax the muscles, it gives the body space to expand and lengthen the muscles, to release anything that's been tight or stagnant or stuck. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Last breath, a cleansing breath. So inhale through the nose, fill the breath up. See if you can send your breath all the way deep into the low belly. And then taking a nice big open mouth exhale. Beautiful. Let's bring our right hand to the right thigh and gently guide that right knee into the chest as you roll onto your back, and then bring the left knee in as well. Widen the knees just like we did in the beginning of our practice, and take those same little rocks side to side, releasing the low back. Very good. Let's send the feet up towards the ceiling once again, holding onto the backs of the thighs. Take that same little point and flex through the feet. Rotate through the ankles. And then let's hold on to the back of that left thigh, lowering your right leg all the way down, or foot to the mat. Coming into our hamstring calf stretch here on the left side. Nice, slow, deep breaths. And bringing your attention to each exhale and really giving or guiding your body to soften the belly and the low back and all the muscles around the hip girdle. So, as though you're breathing through layer after layer, softening and softening. And just as we did on the other side, if you'd like to come into this a little deeper, you can send the hands a little further down the leg to the calf. Keeping the shoulders plugged down, softening in the facial muscles, the jaw. And last 3 breaths here. Cleansing breath. Bending that left knee. We'll come into our supine twist over to the right. So gently guiding that left knee over to the right, stacking the left hip over the right. Maybe this side feels a little tighter. Definitely does for me. Breathing through any intensity to find the release. Let's take a few more breaths here. Offering the body a cleansing breath on this last breath. Big inhale through the nose. Big open mouth exhale. Left hand to the thigh, guiding that left knee into the chest, rolling onto your back. Bringing the right knee in and taking a little rock side to side. Very good. Let's lower our feet to the floor, to your mat, and then widen the feet a little further than hip width distance or the width of your mat. Bring your arms out to a T and widen the knees, holding that width. Just drop the legs over to the right. Nice, slow, deep breaths here. You should be feeling this in your left quad, maybe down the IT band. Really common here for the glutes to want to clench and hold. So doing your best to let the glutes release. And this isn't about forcing the knees to the floor. It's just letting the knees fall where they may. If you find that this is a little too intense in your knees, you can use some props or blankets underneath the thighs just to give them a little support. And we won't stay here too much longer. Let's take another 5 slow, deep breaths here. Last breath. And then very carefully bringing the knees back to center. Maybe realign, readjust yourself here. And then we'll let the knees just fall over to the left. And letting the body kind of just sink into this pose. If you feel like your feet are kind of shifting a little bit, just let that happen. So we don't want to force the body to be in a rigid position here. Releasing the glutes. And taking 3 more breaths. Last breath. And slowly bringing the legs back to center. From here, we'll come into reclined butterfly pose or Supta Baddha Konasana. Walk your feet back in towards one another. Open up the knees, bring the soles of the feet together, and let's bring the hands to the belly. I always kind of like to walk the shoulder blades out from one another and then let the shoulders melt back, just giving a little added space in the upper back. Taking a nice, slow, deep breath to the belly. Feel the belly rise with the inhale. And let the belly soften on the exhale. Releasing the glutes, the thighs, the legs. And giving a little tuck of the chin in towards the chest, just to lengthen the spine all the way up the neck. And you can always use blocks or blankets underneath the knees or the thighs in this pose if you need that support. Let's take one more breath here. And then bringing your hands to the outer edges of your thighs, bring the knees in towards one another, feet to the mat. Let's bring our right ankle on top of that left thigh. Send your right knee away from you. Thread that right hand in that opening coming into our reclined pigeon. You can bring your hands, interlacing the fingers behind the back of the thigh or on top of the shin of that left leg. And just letting the legs get really heavy, falling in towards you. Making sure that the head's not lifted or the chin's up towards the ceiling. If you need some extra support to have the head be relaxed, you can bring a blanket underneath or a block. And you can always use a strap here around the leg as well. So feeling this in your right hip, maybe in the glute. Take a big breath to the belly. Exhale, softening the belly. Releasing as best as you can any holding or gripping in the body. That means in the legs, the feet, the ankles, the shoulders, the jaw. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And last breath, big inhale, big exhale. Releasing the hands, keep the legs just as they are. You're going to lower your left foot to the mat, and then we're just going to drop the legs over to the left. So bringing your right foot to the floor. Use your left hand to grab onto that right ankle. Maybe you gently guide that right foot a little closer in towards you, and then focus on sending that right knee away. So looking to feel that nice stretch through the IT band and glute in that right leg. You can open that right arm out to the side if that feels good to you, or just rest it on the ribs. Maybe looking over to the right. That feels okay in the neck. Once again, releasing the glutes, releasing any gripping or holding in the body. And taking 3 more breaths here. Last breath. And very slowly bringing the legs back to center. Uncrossing that right ankle. And then we'll make our way to the other side. So crossing that left ankle over the right thigh. Coming into your reclined pigeon. Threading that left arm through. And taking any little movements or making any little adjustments that allow you to just get into this pose where you're able to be still and melt into the pose. Remembering that, once again, in our Yin practice, it is about finding stillness. As each time we make a little adjustment in the body, we reactivate the muscles. We want to allow the muscles to be in a relaxed state through the time that we're in the pose. And as we allow the muscles to relax, we also allow the fascia to soften. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Last breath. And releasing the hands, lowering your right foot to the mat. And then dropping the legs over to the right, coming into our IT band stretch. Maybe grabbing onto that left ankle with your right hand, guiding that left foot in a little closer towards you. Opening up the left side body, opening up that arm. Maybe looking over to the left. Letting the body open up and soften. Last 3 breaths here. Cleansing breath. And slowly bringing the legs back to center. Let's bring the knees into the chest. Taking that same little rock side to side and extending the feet up towards the ceiling. Once again, holding onto the backs of the thighs. Point and flex through the feet. Rotate through the ankles. And then just holding here, you can give a little gentle flex in the foot. Press down through the lower back, the shoulders. Taking 3 deep breaths here. Last breath. Bending the knees, giving yourself a big hug as you squeeze the knees in. Taking a nice big cleansing breath. Releasing the legs, lowering your feet down to the mat, and then extending the legs all the way out, making your way into Shavasana. Once you settle here, taking a cleansing breath, big breath in, big breath out. And letting the body surrender. I hope your hips and your legs received all the benefits of this yin practice. I hoped your muscles enjoyed this deep stretches of each pose. And I hope you were pleasantly surprised with all of our poses being reclined. Thank you so much for choosing to do yoga for your body. Thank you for choosing to practice with me. I hope to practice again with you soon. From my heart to yours, namaste.